I remember that time Trey Lance was getting like hyped up. Everybody was like he was like gonna be like the next Patrick Mahomes. So I'm like, okay. Like so, I'm believing it. And, to this day, like Trey Lance hasn't like lived up to that expectation. So, it's always like when we talk about the NFL draft, everybody's not gonna be a hit. But there's gonna be a lot of hits too, especially sixth, seventh, fifth round guys that could, make a name for themselves later on. And there's going to be some guys in the first round that can end up being bust. So, who are some guys you guys are excited about in the NFL draft? Let's start with you, Emma. That's on me.
So if it works in our favor, obviously I'm a Titans fans and I'm gonna have to get on the love train and do Jeremiah Love. I'd love to see him in Nashville, potentially just living up to Derrick Henry, which we lost a few years ago, which still not over that, but could he play up to that? I think absolutely. And I'd love to see him and Cam Ward working together to get the Titans where they need to be in the next few years.
Is there a guy in the NFL draft that you think that could become a Hall of Famer? Or do you think of that as in Jeremiah Love?
I would keep on with Jeremiah Love in that, and I think that he has so much potential depending on where he goes. Now, a lot of people, and I know we've talked about it in a previous episode, if Love did go to the Titans, is he throwing away that, is that kind of going to be like a wasted potential type of situation, or should he be going to another team? So it's almost like, do we feel bad for him if he does get signed with the Titans, or should we hope that he goes to another team where he can live up to that?
Yeah, I definitely feel that because, they always say you got to have an offensive line to draft a running back or you're setting them up to fail. But I think Jeremiah Love's a great player. I just worry about him going to a team or a franchise that's not ready for him. So I just feel like he has to be in the right fit to excel early. How about you, Antonio? What do you think about Jeremiah Love going to the Titans?
Hmm. I'm actually gonna spin this on Emma because I feel like she has more knowledge of this than me. And you may have touched on it in the past as well, but do you think the Titans are ready for him?
Personally, as much as I would love to see him here, I don't think that we're ready for him. I think that we're still building, especially considering that we also just got a new coach. There's a lot to clean up here in Nashville. And I think, would it be a good thing for him to draft, considering that they are building the new stadium and it's going to be finished within the next year? Yes. So I see it from that side of like, okay, we're spending all this money on the stadium, let's get our team good and everything, especially with the rumors and talks of a Super Bowl in Nashville and stuff. Nashville's really trying to get on the map. But to answer your question, go back to it. No, I don't think that we're ready for him at all.
Mm, I
By
like the on.
chance, is the new stadium gonna be grass or turf? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think it's turf.
Interesting.
It's always weird because some players like grass, some players only like playing on turf. But I know in the NFL they whine about they just wish it was grass because a lot of players get hurt on turf easy. Who do you think, Antonio, to become a Hall of Famer?
I think it's a layup
Or
answer, so I feel kind of bad for giving it, but I kind of feel like he's in the same scenario as Love. I feel like Mendoza has it. I feel like he really could. I feel like out of like all the quarterbacks drafted like in the 2020s, whenever we look back, I feel like he's gonna be like, if not the best, like second or third. And I feel
do
like
you
that would like, I feel like the power levels of it, he would be like good enough to get in the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. It really just depends. It could be another scenario where like he gets traded to another team and then really blossoms. But maybe he could do it in Vegas. I feel like he's got the tools for
do
sure.
you
I mean, he's
think
number one for a reason.
do you think it's best case scenario for him to sit behind Cousins for what do you say, a year, maybe a year and a half? Like, what do you think the best plan for his
At least a
development is?
year.
At least a
At
year.
least a year. I don't see a reason to play him if you're gonna have Kirk Cousins there, especially like for the amount of money that he's gonna get. It's like, I mean, I guess Mendoza's gonna get some money too, but ain't no need to rush. Just let him sit and chill. I feel like that would do a lot for his future because that's the big trap with quarterbacks. That's how all of these quarterbacks end up bad. they get on a bad team and they're thrown into a bad scenario early on. Having to learn all these things, the learning curve is crazy. I couldn't even imagine it. But especially for a quarterback, oh my days. But I don't know. I feel like it'll work out. I feel like I feel like he'll do it. I know he's got it. I mean, you can just like see it on and off the field. Strong sense of like character and resolve. That alone, like that's like a trait you can't really teach. And I feel like of all the GOATs, that's like what they all have.
Well, I cheated I didn't cheat. I just did two different players. So I did a guy that I thought they'll make the Hall of Fame and a guy I would like to see the Panthers draft. So I think like a short Hall of Famer in my mind, I'm gonna say Caleb Downs. I just feel like he's very technical sound. I think he plays with a very high IQ. He see ball, get ball at the safety position. He probably could play some dime linebacker if you really wanted him to. He could play all over the secondary. He's a guy that's been playing ever since he was a true freshman. I think he's just I think he's the safest pick in the NFL draft. I think he has the lowest floor. So I think Caleb Downs is the guy I would say, like, if I had to pick one, I think he would be the Hall of Famer. But a guy that I would like to see the Carolina Panthers draft is definitely King and Sadiq. I think he's like a matchup nightmare, a guy that could line up at receiver, tight end. I know I've talked to Antonio about it a lot off the camera. I think he could be one of those freaks. He could be a Hall of Famer as well with his measurables and how fast he is. I mean, he's that big at tight end, but runs routes like a receiver. I just feel like that would be great for Bryce Young and his development, getting him to go with T Mac on the outside. So
Yeah, it'd be a really good support system, especially in a conference that's definitely winnable. That would be nice. That should be a really good pool.
yeah.
I mean, do you think they will? Like, do you think like he'll end up there? Or
I think if he falls to that pick, he's going to Carolina. I think the concern is Carolina had such a good year last year. They're drafting at 19. So some mock drafts you'll look, he's going to the Ravens around 14, 15. Some you can see the Chiefs might get him. Like because you see Travis Kelce, he's getting older. Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, like that connection. Like, do you want to get Lamar another tight end? So a lot of teams could pick him in the top 15. But if he falls to Carolina, they're definitely going to snag him, I think. But it's just really a luck game. Unless they want to trade up and go get him. But I think it's more if he falls to them, they're going to take him.
Antonio, you're a Saints fan, right?
Yeah.
You're a Saints fan? Okay.
Well, I like the Saints and the Texans. They're like both like right there. So I'd claim both, I guess. But
so what do you want the Saints to draft? Who do you want the Saints to draft?
There's a lot of holes. I don't know. I mean, I guess for where they're drafting, I'm really racking my brain about this. What's their main issue?
You'll see some people say they should take like a Carnell Tate from Ohio State. Maybe if a Jeremiah Love falls there, they might can take a Jeremiah Love.
I was leaning towards Carnell Tate because I feel like Love's not going to be there. I feel like you got to give Shuck more weapons. I feel like that's probably the best thing to do that early in the draft. Give him the best that you can, especially for Chris Olave. That poor man, he had like a career season. Was carrying the receiver corps. Shout out to every receiver that laced up for the Saints last year, but man, I feel like that's probably what.
The corner from LSU, you know who I'm talking about? Manser. I can't pronounce his name at the top of my head, but the corner from LSU, number 4, he's projected to go to the Saints. He's another Louisiana guy. So I think that would be a great pickup for y'all as well. I mean, you guys are picking pretty high at 8, so you guys have a lot of options there. I don't know if you guys want to take the risk and take Ruben Bain there at 8. He has a lot of concerns. Since we're talking about concerns, like, is there a guy that you guys look at in the draft that maybe could concern you down the line because the measurables or off the field stuff? Like, for example, we didn't talk about it last week, but you know the situation with Ruben Bain off the field, and you know a lot of people are concerned about his arms with being a defensive end. because you got to have long arms to rush a 6'6", 6'7" offensive tackle. So, is there anybody that concerns you in the draft?
I don't know. I guess I would maybe say Jordan Tyson.
Mm.
Just because I mean, I don't know how much I mean, y'all probably do know this, but with his injury and everything and that being a big concern, I think that the Chiefs were set to take him, correct me if I'm wrong on that, and so it's like, do they still or could they move ahead with someone else?
Yeah, I think Jordan Tyson's. I think if the Chiefs get Jordan Tyson, I think that's definitely could be like a steal. Like right now, they have a mock 16 to the Jets. Like if he falls to 16, is that something we look back at 15 years now and say like that was a steal? Like how did he fall all the way to 15? They said he was going to go top 10. So that's an interesting one because I'm very high on Jordan Tyson. So, but I definitely could see your argument if he has injury concerns why he could fall. I definitely could see it.
Because they've got him right now in the first round at pick 9, so
Yeah. I'm interested to see if the Eagles go receiver as well because they just traded. They're planning on trading AJ Brown to the Patriots come June 1st. So I'm very interested. I'm very interested to see what they want to do there because I don't view Devontae Smith as a wide receiver one. Maybe you do, Antonio, but I just think they would need another alpha dog receiver, or you get two wide receiver twos, maybe. I know they have Hollywood Brown. I view him as a wide receiver 3 at this point. Last year at 500 yards. So I think the Eagles could be in play for a wide receiver there as well. Let's see. So you got guys like Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Malachi Lemon, Jeremy Bernard. Like it's a loaded draft. Omar Cooper from Indiana, Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M. It's really just like what type of receiver you want. Like I see some mock drafts have Caden Proctor going to the Texans, the offensive tackle from Alabama. Do you think that would be a good pick for y'all, Antonio? He's very large.
Yeah, that would help fill probably the second biggest hole in the team, if not the biggest hole.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess every team values large guys at the line setting that wall. So, I mean, I guess anyone can really benefit from that, but you know.
Yeah.
To answer your question from the get-go, I'm not really concerned per se. I'm more so just curious about what team will be able to get the most out of KC. I'm big on him. I'm a real big fan. I believe that I feel like you could argue, like maybe he'll develop to a point. I could argue at least that he could develop to a point to where you could ask, like, oh, is this one of the best receivers in the league, like real life, or at least like at the least like one of the best slot receivers. But I feel like he's tough and nice. He just needs to be in a good system with a good quarterback down to him. I feel like he just needs someone who can make the most.
We talking about Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M? Okay, okay. I think the interesting will be down the line around 5th round. I think Harold Perkins is an interesting name that a lot of people from Louisiana know. I just feel like all his time at LSU, his freshman year, he was see ball, get ball, rushing the passer, and then his sophomore, junior year, he tore his ACL his junior year, came back his senior year. They played him at nickel to try and I don't because he's so athletic, but I think his best trait is when he's just straight rushing the passer. He's not that good at being a inside linebacker. I don't think that's his strength. I think his best strength is just rushing the passer. I know he's not the biggest. He wouldn't be the biggest edge, but as an off-ball linebacker, just rushing the passer, I think that's where his value could be. I think he's probably getting slept on because it's down production, but I think he could still be a very good player. I think he's a boomer bust pick as well.